That's right. It's KP's Video News, y'all, with a brand new jingle. Brand new jingle, and I'm trying to mingle. All right, folks. Yep. Just having a little fun. Anyway, all my people out there, friends and family, uh, retired ex-co-workers, and the like. Anybody out there that's dealing with this whole COVID situation, hope you get well soon. Mask up, get the vax. Hey, the COVID is what's killing people, not the vaccine. Anyway, uh, here we go, folks. Coming on, I'm coming to you hard here today. They got what's been revealed. They had an off-duty cop that had swore he had no choice but to shoot Jason Walker, which was shot on Saturday by an off-duty North Carolina sheriff who claimed Walker leaped onto his F-150 truck and broke through his windshield. The officer was revealed Tuesday as Deputy Jeffrey Hash described the scene as Walker appearing in the street in front of him and that he had to slam on his brakes to avoid hitting him. He says that Walker then jumped onto the hood of his F-150 truck. It was the same story he relayed to 911 when he called. And Police Chief Gina Hawkins stated on Sunday that the black box of the vehicle did not record any impact to the vehicle. She also said there were no bullet holes through the windshield. The incident took place after 2:15 p.m. The Hash reportedly didn't call 911 first. The first call he made, according to witnesses, was to his boss at the sheriff's department. It was only after that he called 911. Rick said that he had made no effort to try and save Walker's life. So that was the witness, Elizabeth Ricks, that stated that he made no effort to even try to save him. And both Ricks and lawyer Ben Crump stated that Walker was shot in the back twice. He was not acting crazy, Rick said during a Sunday rally. He didn't jump in traffic. That officer murderer shot him, hit him with his car. Now, how would Jason jump onto a big truck? Videos of the scene show Walker was laying face down on the pavement on the driver's side of the truck while Ricks was trying to stop the bleeding. The 911 call also reveals a panicked Hash saying that a hostile crowd was growing around him. And somebody said, "Don't you say that. Nobody's hostile," one man says on the video, which also shows Hash on his cell phone. The 911 dispatcher tried to walk Hash through providing aid to Walker until the ambulance could arrive, and the witness asked where he shot Walker. "I don't know," he shouted. "He jumped on my car." "We don't care about that," a voice can be heard saying. "Where is the entry point? We have a reason to believe that this was a case of shoot first, ask later, a philosophy seen all too often in law enforcement," and says Ben Crump, who's representing the family. And it's like, wow, you just get out the car and you just start shooting people. You didn't shoot through the windshield. Oh, boy. There was no impact. Didn't have no impact to the vehicle. None. So the black box proved that was a lie. Telling you, man. Was this guy off duty? Was he off duty? Yeah, he was off duty when he shot and killed this guy. Yeah. So, telling you, they're doing it more and more brazen every day. We got a Baton Rouge judge violated the First Amendment by trying to imprison a professor for sharing body cam footage. It was the city that put the footage in the public record in the first place. So the city of Baton Rouge tried to throw a law professor in prison after he shared a publicly available body camera footage showing police officers strip searching a minor in public. On Friday, a federal judge ruled that this violated the First Amendment. That footage, originally shared, was captured at a 2020 traffic stop. Baton Rouge Police Department officers cuffed a 23-year-old Clarence Green and his 16-year-old brother, pulling down their pants on the sidewalk to look for drugs. Officer Troy Lawrence and then Sergeant Ken Kamalo subsequently went to the family's home and searched it, weapons drawn, without a warrant. When the story sparked considerable outrage, the government zeroed in on Thomas Frampton, the attorney who represented the Greens, and disseminated the clips, which were already a part of public record. During a May press conference they convened to address the video, East Baton Rouge Parish Attorney Anderson Dotson notified Frampton that the government would seek to hold him in contempt of court, which carried up to 6 months in the East Baton Rouge Parish Prison. In measuring the significance of Frampton's alleged criminal activity, the court finds under the circumstances of the case there was no criminal activity, writes Judge John DeGravels. In a 92-page opinion published Friday, Frampton released the video that was in public domain, belonged to his clients, and he released it on the instructions and with knowledge of his clients. The footage of Camilo's warrantless home entry might be even a bigger headache for the Baton Rouge Police Department than the public strip search. This was his third such search in under 3 years. He has been demoted, but he's still with the department. Baton Rouge Police Department contempt for the constitutional rights of everyday Baton Rouge citizens like the Green family is jaw-dropping, Frampton declared in a public statement. But then you see how the lawyers who defend and enable these officers act, and it makes a lot more sense. Sadly, it's the taxpayers who end up paying for their misdeeds. Indeed, the Green family reached a $35,000 settlement with the city. After Clarence spent 5 months in jail, the government moved to dismiss its case against him, and a federal judge agreed, but not without first bench slapping the state for actions that could be criminal. Such an intrusion, an abject violation of the protections afforded by the Fourth Amendment of the United States Constitution, which protects citizens against unwarranted government intrusions in their homes, may justifiably be considered to be a trespass subject to prosecution under Louisiana law. And the city of Baton Rouge insisted that it was Frampton who violated the law by disseminating the video, but it was the city that put that video footage into the public record in the first place. So they're trying to trump the law over there, trying to DC dunce the law over there. Yeah, we just make up the rules as we go along. You know, we just make up the rules as we go along. Yeah. So this is what we had here. This is the next story. They had Republicans and activists in Michigan and Arizona tried sending the National Archive fake documents stating to award each state's 2020 electoral votes to Donald Trump and Mike Pence. The erroneous documents are now in the hands of the House Select Committee investigating the January 6th insurrection. Thank you. The certificates of ascertainment were created and signed by most of the Republican electors whose votes would have gone to Trump and Pence if they had won their state. Officials at the National Archives passed copies of the fakes along to the officers in Michigan Secretary of State Jocelyn Benson and Arizona Secretary of State Katie Hobbs, along with notice that the archives would be rejecting them. The fake Michigan certificate was the work of GOP activist and Republican National Committee member Kathy Burton, reported after obtaining a memorandum about the document via an open records request. Asked why she submitted the forgery, Ms. Burton replied, "I can't comment on anything like that. That was a long time ago." So Benson and Hobbs both sent the fake certificates to the Select Committee with accompanying correspondence between their offices and the National Archives. So There's a GOP officials, and they dodging questions after they accused of sending the forged certificates claiming Trump won the election. Lock them up. Lock them up. They committed a crime. Lock them up. What you waiting on? You know, we sitting up here playing games. What you waiting on? What are you waiting on? They're criminals. So we had Maya Angelou. Let me see here. Let me see here. Yep. So this is another story I think I'm gonna read right quick. It's so it's like disturbing parallels between the 2020s and the 1940s in America. And regular readers are familiar with uh, what's going on in this country, man. But you got to also realize that it's a bunch of people out here, man, that are trying to do a lot of crazy stuff. So today they're trying to take us all the way back to the 1800s, and direct result of that. I mean, all you had to do was think about what Donald Trump was trying to do. He was pushing coal, supporting coal. It's as if to say, yeah, I want to be a coal baron. I want the coal barons just like they had in the 1800s when we used to have choo-choo trains that used to shoot all kind of smoke out the top of the train, all kind of black smoke because they were using coal to power these trains. This guy was so backwards and so antiquated, born during the Jim Crow era. So he tried to take the country back to the Jim Crow era, and to a certain degree, he succeeded because he brought all of these racists out of the woodwork. Out of the woodwork, his so-called followers that are over there, and he's just so ignorant to the facts that he doesn't even realize the real thing that he was doing was helping the so-called far right militias overthrow the government. That's been their whole agenda since they've been created, was to overthrow the government and install a government that they want in place, one that's going to try to we're going to try to deport everybody that's not white out of the country, Native Americans included, Hispanics, Asians, everybody, black. Everybody got to go. That's what they would like to have. But you want to live in a society like that, move to Montana. Move to Montana, move to Idaho. They got places for you already. Go there. If that's what you're really seeking. So anyway, Maya Angelou becomes the first black woman to appear on a U.S. quarter as the Treasury begins distribution. And the U.S. Treasury quarter featuring the late Maya Angelou went into circulation Monday, and the U.S. Mint announced making the legendary poet and activist the first black woman ever to appear on the coin. Maya Angelou's quarter is the first in the American Women's Quarters program, which will include coins featuring prominent women in American history. Other quarters in the series will begin rolling out later this year and through 2025, the Mint stated. Each time we redesign our currency, we have the chance to say something about our country, what we value, and how we have progressed as a society, uh, Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen said in a separate statement. I'm proud that these coins have to celebrate the contributions of some of America's most remarkable women, starting with Maya Angelou. And the new coin still features George Washington's visit on the head side, while on the tail side honors Angelou by evoking one of her most famous works, the autobiography, I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings. Lawmakers cheered the release of the new coin on Monday and credited Barbara Lee, a California Democrat, with the achievement. And Lee introduced circulating collectible coin redesign act of 2020, which passed in January 2021 and ultimately paved the way for the creation of these new coins. The phenomenon and the phenomenal women who shaped American history have gone unrecognized for too long, especially women of color, Lee said, and proud to have led this bill to honor their legacies. And the U.S. Mint invited the public to submit names of women they view as American icons, and the Bureau welcomed entries of women known for their work in civil rights, science, and the arts, among other areas, with an emphasis on women that from ethnic, racially, and geographically diverse backgrounds. The only requirement was that the women who appear on the coins must be deceased. And the agency will issue 4 other quarters this year, with the others honoring Sally Ride, an astronaut who was the first American woman in space, Asian American actress Anna Mae Wong, and Cherokee Nation leader uh, Wilma Mankiller, and suffrage and politician Nina Warren. So okay, they're gonna. So this is like the first. That was the first coin. That was the first coin that they're in a series of 4 so far. They're starting out with 4. Okay, that's cool. That's really cool. Okay, folks, on with the show. And this, you had there was a black man that was sentenced to 1,823 years. 1,823 years. Receives a pardon from the governor. A Hampton, Virginia black man will be released from prison after getting a pardon from Governor Ralph Norton in his 1,832-year prison sentence. In 2001, Lawrence Stevens was an 18-year-old homeless restaurant worker when he had a group of others pull off a home invasion robbery in which his attorney says no shots were fired and no one was injured. Stevens and others in the group were later arrested and tried in the York County Circuit Court for the crime. York Judge Prentice Smiley presided over the court proceedings and handed Stevens a prison sentence that defied state sentencing guidelines by hundreds of years, determining the then teenager would spend 1,832 years behind bars. Wow. Uh, Judge Smiley retired from the bench and then died in 2008. 10 years earlier, a case he presided over made its way to the U.S. Supreme Court, lending to the 2020 decision prohibiting federal executions of individuals with intellectual disabilities. Wow. 20 years ago, my family friend Lawrence Stevens was sentenced to 1,823 years in prison for a home invasion in which nobody died or was injured. And Governor Ralph Northam has officially pardoned him, and he is coming home in 30 to 60 days. And this year, Galen Canoyton, president of the Hampton NAACP chapter, brought in Rebecca Wynn, legal redress chair, to take a closer look at Stevens' case to get a conditional pardon. The case is just one the advocates are looking into. Racism is not a level playing field, and we have so many inmates in the same situation. Wynn argued prosecutors did not present evidence to prove the full scope of Stevens' involvement in the robbery, which would have led to a harsher sentence than others in the group, including Paul Menendez, the white mastermind behind the crime, who received only 10 years. The mastermind, the white mastermind, only got 10 years. Darnell Nolan, a black 17-year-old man at the time of the crime, was given 35-year sentence. Additionally, the attorney appointed to defend Stevens was later found guilty by the State Bar Disciplinary Board of failing to properly present his client. The petition for Stevens' pardon. Let me see here. The petition for Stevens' pardon was filed in September and approved by Northam on December 17th after spending 19 years in prison. Wow, man. I don't know, man. That's some trauma right there. Already spent 19 years in prison. That's trauma. He was a child. He was a child when he went to jail. on the same token, this case right here, and here's a guy that actually purchased a gun for a criminal that shot and killed people. And let me tell you what he got. So the man that gave Kyle Rittenhouse a semi-automatic rifle he used in the deadly Kenosha, Wisconsin murders is set to avoid convictions on the 2 felony charges he faced. Dominic Black, 20 years old, has agreed to plead guilty to contributing to the delinquency of a minor, a non-criminal offense. And Dominic Black was charged on November 2020, 3 months after the shootings, with felony charges counts for delivering a dangerous weapon to a minor. Black was 18 when he purchased the Smith & Wesson M&P AR-15 rifle for Rittenhouse at a hardware store in Rusk County in May that year. At 17, Rittenhouse was too young to legally purchase the weapon, the newspaper reported. And in August 2020, Rittenhouse used it to kill 2 people and wound a third during protests in Kenosha, Wisconsin. In November, a jury found him not guilty based on his claim of self-defense. Black testified for the prosecution during the Rittenhouse trial, where the judge Schroeder threw out a charge of unlawful possession of the firearm by a minor. That was something the judge never should have threw that out. He was a minor in possession of a firearm. So the judge was biased, without a doubt. And the defense convinced Schroeder that an exception in the law allows 17-year-olds to possess rifles and shotguns, or at least left the law too vague to be enforceable. Black's attorney, Anthony Cotton of Waukesha, Wisconsin, had made the same argument for dismissing Black's case. Schroeder is also the judge in Black's case, which is set. And so the newspaper pointed out that Schroeder could still reject the plea. But anyway, he's talking about he's going to have to pay a $2,000 fine and have all the felony counts dismissed. Yeah, racism does exist in America. And if anybody tells you that lie and said that they don't, that it doesn't, that's all they're doing is lying. So here we go. We have this is the last story of the day. Calvin Simon, a member of one of my favorite groups. I've seen him live, and I know people that are in this group. Parliament Funkadelic member dies at age 79. Rest in peace, Mr. Calvin Simon. And he was a founding member of Parliament Funkadelic and the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductee. He died at age 79. We lost another original member of Parliament Funkadelic, Bootsy Collins, stated, and confirming Simon's death, a friend, bandmate, and a cool, classy guy. Mr. Calvin Simon was a former member of Parliament Funkadelic, and he's in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, inducted in '97 with 15 members of the P-Funk. Wow. Simon's cause of death has not been reported. He was born in 1942 in West Virginia, where he sang with his church choir. Simon relocated to New Jersey with his family as a teen. He worked as a barber, and by the late 1950s, Simon joined the group originally known as the Parliaments, first formed as a doo-wop group with his fellow barbers George Clinton, Grady Thomas, and customers Ray Davis and Fuzzy Haskins. Simon, who was drafted in 1967 to serve in Vietnam, went on to sing with the group that later became known as Parliament Funkadelic. He eventually parted ways with the group due to financial disputes. And the thing that means the most to me is how I handle PTSD from the service in the Vietnam War, he stated in a statement on his website. I was able to keep the genie in the bottle, so to speak, and it did not allow the evil thoughts to break through and manifest into actions. Instead, I found my faith and relied on a higher power to see me through. Wow. Along with other members of Parliament Funkadelic, Simon was inducted by Prince into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1997. And funk is a force that tore the roof off, the sucker that is modern music, Prince said in their Rock Hall of Fame introduction. Most recently, Simon recorded gospel music under his label Simon Says, releasing the album Share the News in 2004. He was diagnosed and treated for thyroid cancer. And initially, it was a shock, took his voice away, Simon recalled, and his excerpt posted on his website. It was while I was preparing for a tour to promote his first Christian album, Share the News, uh, and when he realized there was a problem, since cancer was in the thyroid against his vocal cords, it was certain that his music career was over, and that at the point he walked away from music. And apparently, God had other plans, and he had enough forethought to know I needed to be at home at the time. And he went on to release two more gospel albums, one in 2016 and one in 2018. In 2019, Clinton and other members of the Parliament Funkadelic received a Lifetime Achievement Award from the Recording Academy, and said there was such a positive message and vibe to the original Parliament Funkadelic that was delivered in a fun way. True music, true arrangements, pure joy. I think long-term fans will again relate to that side of the music. He noted of his gospel releases, new fans can experience my version of gospel, which he called Sanctified Funk. That's right. Rest in paradise, Calvin Simon, former member of Parliament Funkadelic. And wow, you're just losing a lot of folks, man. Sidney Poitier, Betty White, Calvin Simon, man, Bob Saget. Man, it's just been a lot of people, man. A lot of famous people that have been leaving here. That's right, folks. The funk, y'all. Peace.